Yeah. Yeah. Sit down. Come on. Here. Sit here.
It shows everybody.
Yeah. Yeah. Please, sit down. You're a soldier. Sit down. I'm trying to get soldiers involved. Yeah.
Hello, everyone.
Nope.
I want to welcome you. My name is Molly. Excited to do a special and Joey Logano. And 79
good morning.
military bases here at home and in Germany.
Ma'am.
I'd like to welcome Lonsdale Regional Medical Center, Baden Cottage, Fort Carson,
Yes.
Pensacola Naval Air Station, Fort Campbell, Travis Air Force Base,
I think she's calling like roll call or something.
and Fort Jackson, Columbia, South
We got
Carolina.
all the USOs involved.
I want to welcome all of the military members and their families at the
For real? For real?
staff and volunteers. And all the fans who are watching this NASCAR.com today. I think Greg and Joey for their time to take part in this chat. You know I'm a writer at NASCAR.com. I'm very passionate about this opportunity because I run very military. My husband Ryan is actually a West Point graduate and a former Green Beret with the first special. In addition, with my children, Joint Base Lewis McCoy, Washington State, where we spend our time on home. Throughout our years, family, first benefited greatly from many of the services, from care packages, free phone cards, to opportunities like this to give our troops a chance to reconnect with home, if only for 30 minutes or so. And I cannot overstate the importance of the work that the U.S. does for our military. So with that, let's get this chat underway because Greg and Joey, I know we have a lot of people that are excited to speak with you both. So we're going to take a question from each of our different posts, and let's start with Lonsdale Regional Medical Center. Do you have a question for Greg and Joey?
Anybody got a question?
I had a question.
You're gonna unmute it, Tom.
There you go.
Well, Jimmy Johnson. How do you feel about being great? Come back and be the underdog and possibly take the championship away this year?
I think that was for me.
It was for you, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
pretty far out.
you know, it would be nice. We're down to only 3 races left, so being where we're at points, it's kind of a long shot, but certainly, you know, we're not giving up till the very last race of the season. So we're giving 100% effort till we get there. But you know, 50-some points out, it's a little bit of a stretch for us in 3 races. But certainly we can make it up into the top 3 perhaps, and a couple of wins will go a long ways right now for us.
And Joey, you might want to talk as well about your chase and kind of what you'd like to do here as we close out the season.
Our chase is it's been a little up and down. We you know, started in Chicago. We got a pole there, leading laps, had an engine failure, kind of put you behind the 8th, and then we were kind of making up spots, and then we just kind of gotten on a lull the last couple weeks. But I feel like Texas this weekend, I got a really good AAA car, and that could possibly win the championship after a practice. We got one more practice after this today, so we got what's about 50 minutes or so, Brad? Yeah. So about 50 minutes, and then we'll tune her in as good as we can, and then have some fun tomorrow and try to win it here. So I'm sitting 11th in points. I'm pretty far out, but I think we can still get into the top 5, and that's kind of our goal right now where we're at.
Awesome. Do we have anyone else? Another question from Lonsdale.
Well, I have a question. I think it's kind of a shocker to see Jeff Gordon as number 3. What makes I don't understand how he wants to race now. And here in the previous years when he had the championship and lost it, it's like he dropped down, has always been in the 20th position or lower. What makes him want to all of a sudden race again?
I'll let you answer that.
You know, it's a lot about really, it's a lot about how you're performing as a team, as an organization, and so. It's easy to get kind of stuck in a rut if if you're not hitting the setups right, you're not, you're doing all you can and driving as hard as you can, and you're just not getting the results. So I don't know if it particularly want to. It's probably that they just didn't have the cars, and he wasn't communicating with the team. The chemistry wasn't right, possibly to run any better than he was at that point.
It's definitely a team sport. It takes everybody to make a car go fast, and I know at Penske Racing there's 350 guys working there. I know at Roush is probably a similar number. Yeah. So obviously it's not just the driver, it's not just the crew chief, it's not just the pit crew. We all have to work together.
Thank you for your questions, Landstuhl. We may be able to come back to you in a little bit. Why don't we go to Wiesbaden? Do you have a question for Greg or Joey?
Hi, I'm going to ask a little more of a lighthearted question, not so businessy. Do you have a favorite race car driver movie?
I just watched that movie Rush that just came out, the F1 movie. I thought that was a great movie. You watched it yet?
I haven't seen it.
It's spectacular. I think it's the best racing movie that's come out. I feel like the other ones are what? The Talladega Nights and
Days of Thunder.
Days of Thunder. They're not very realistic.
Not very realistic, but my favorite's Days of Thunder. So
you watch this other one.
It was kind of funny, so I thought it was comical. But anyway,
I wish I can grab fifth gear and pass cars. That's all.
Yeah,
I only got 4 gears, so I don't know what happened.
That's a great question. Is there another? Is somebody else have a question as well?
I actually had a question for both of you. Did either of you start your career at the lowest level, like with a club like NASA or SCCA or IMSA or anything like that?
I started. I mean, I kind of did. I started at a local Friday, Saturday night type of short track. My dad and I built like a bomber car, a hobby stock car, and I started racing, just on Friday night at the local speedway, and just worked my way up from there. I raced, street stocks, limited sportsman, and then built a late model sportsman car and started doing that. And then went and did some TV races and kind of got my opportunity like that. So that's kind of how I started out.
Mine was a little bit different. I started racing when I was really young. I was like six and a half, and I had a quarter midget, which is basically a go-kart with a roll cage and a seatbelt in it, because my mom was kind of a safety freak. So we went and I got to race those for a little bit, and then there's a bunch of short track asphalt stuff that you can move up at a fairly young age. There's Bandoleros and Legends cars, and then once you get to a certain age, you start running late models and Pro Cup cars and the the Camping World E Series, I think they call it now. So it's definitely, I mean, I've always done asphalt, never run any dirt or anything like that, but it's interesting to go through the garage and hear how other drivers have started, because, Greg started a different way than I did. You hear a lot of guys come up from the dirt route and running midgets and sprint cars, and, it's definitely different, and you can see kind of how different driving habits are formed from different cars, and some excel in certain tracks and more than others because of what they've done growing up.
Definitely, you can see it in the starting field, how different, all the different backgrounds that all of you guys come from. I think it's very diverse, more so than it's ever been in NASCAR. It's really interesting. Thank you for your questions, Wiesbaden. That was great. Let's go to Fort Carson. Do you have some questions for Greg and Joey?
A question for him?
Hey, I'm just speechless. I'm sorry. First time talking face-to-face to some celebrity. I'm just speechless. I'm sorry, gentlemen.
I feel like we're pretty good.
Not race cars.
Just answer any questions.
How long have you guys been doing this?
Michael Jackson playing?
Well, yeah. What kind of music are going back there? You're jamming out.
They can barely hear us.
Oh, I'm sorry. How long have you guys been doing this racing?
So I've been racing. This is my 11th year racing this episode.
It's our 4th year going with it.
Racing cars since you were how old? When would you say you first
I didn't start racing cars so I chose to start riding a motorcycle.
Yeah. Just cut me in and out, so for whatever reason.
Awesome. Do you have any other questions? Is there anything else you'd like to ask for Carson?
I'm sorry, I'm having problem hearing you guys.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. We will move on and we'll give some other people an opportunity. Let's go to Pensacola Naval Air Station in my home state of Florida. Do you have a question for Greg or Joey?
It keeps muting us. I'm not.
What are you talking to us?
Yeah. What is
Pensacola, are you there?
No,
Do we have Pensacola?
Five Flag Speedway in Pensacola.
Yeah, that's right.
Pretty cool track.
Fort Campbell, are you with us?
We are here.
Awesome. Would you have a question or two for Joey and Greg?
Yeah, first off, I'm a third time on race reading the mini sprint cars on a dirt track. And I just wanted to know how the different levels or different ways I could go to continue on racing.
Well, I mean, we just talked about that a little bit, how there's different roads to go and different routes, and I think we couldn't hear you very well. I think you were saying you were racing dirt cars now. I think you were saying, and yeah, sport's hard to move up into, that's for sure, because it's our sport's different than many other sports because it takes a lot of money to have a race car. As you know, if you're racing already, it's hard to get a good race car. So it's difficult, but my advice is to enjoy every minute you can because you don't know when you have the opportunity to take a car to its edge and have fun and race. So make sure you have fun with it while you can for sure.
I appreciate it. See if my wife has anything to ask. Thanks.
Thank you for joining us. How about Travis Air Force Base? Do you have some questions for Greg and Joey? Travis, are you there? All right, let's go to Fort Jackson. South Carolina, are you with us today?
South Kakalaki.
No?
Here.
Mike, Travis is here.
Okay, Travis, awesome. Why don't you give us a couple questions? What would you like to ask?
How's it going, guys? I know you guys both are driving Fords, and Ford's coming out with a new body style next year. I was just curious as to how much planning the teams are doing now in order to try to get started 2014 on the best foot there.
Well, I mean, we're not really changing bodies that much. It'll look a little bit different because we're changing the spoiler package, and NASCAR's making some changes. But essentially, it's really going to be pretty close to the same car. And there'll be some small updates, I'm sure, but probably nothing major noticeable. And they've got some tests scheduled for beginning of December, and then probably one mid-January that we'll do. So we're getting geared up for those tests the best we can with finishing, staying focused for finishing off these last 3 races of this season.
Joey, do you have any thoughts on the...
That's exactly what's happening. So.
Awesome. Is there anyone else have a question for Travis?
Sure, I'll get one. I'll give you guys a softball. Somebody already took a dirt track question, so I'll go as a fan. It's such a unique part of this sport to see guys arguing and fighting on pit row, and it just brings a different element to our sport. So I'll just ask, going down the road, other than you tear up a lot of equipment and stuff, but just your feelings on that unique aspect of our sport.
Well, I mean, the thing about it is we're. I'll take that question. Go for it, man.
I haven't gotten any problems
Yeah,
this year.
never.
I've been very.
The thing about it is like any type of sport, any type of job or anything you're doing, you're very, very passionate about it, and you're so focused on it, and it's 100% of your life and your effort, and so much goes into that, and so much is on the line each week for us that you get upset when things don't go the way you need it to go, or when you feel like you've been kind of cheated a little bit by another driver, whatever it might be, bumped out of the way or whatever the case could be. So, that's where you see drivers' emotion, because we do this 36 times a year, and that's all the only chance we have to, to make our claim or make our statement in the series, and especially when it comes down to the championship, we only have 10 races. And so, when something goes wrong or a array in one of those races, that's 10% of your season essentially gone in one race. So, you can see how guys get so fired up or passionate about what takes place on the racetrack, and you're gonna see that, continue to see that, and that's what's fun. I agree. I love that about our sport. To see that, that's a emotion and raw passion for what we do on and off the racetrack.
We're basically a bunch of sore losers.
Yeah, well, luckily you two have been totally immune from that.
Yeah, yeah.
Great story on this one. So
Yeah,
that's good.
That's great. That's a great question. Does anyone else have something they'd like to ask?
I guess I have a question. I'm a great NASCAR fan, and I'd like to just know, when you're out there racing, to piggyback off of his question, who would you consider to be your greatest rival in the sport today?
In my opinion, that changes from week to week almost. Granted, there's a set points, right? So Matt Kenseth or Jimmy Johnson are leading the points, but each week, I kind of see that change. Each week you go to, we look at the lap tracker and see who the 3-5 fastest cars are here in Texas. And so that becomes our biggest rival for this weekend. This weekend, Joey's got a really fast car. A few of the other cars, we're about 9% on the lap tracker. We actually feel we're a little better than that. So I think those end up being your rivals each week. Is the guy you're trying to beat that's faster than you, and of course the guys you're racing right around in points. That's the other thing.
I'm gonna go with that answer. That's no, it sounds great. No, I feel like we may have been asking too of the people you like or dislike. And, I know all of us drivers have a little mental notebook in our minds of guys that we know race us well and some that don't, and whether that's guys you've gotten crashes with before, or guys that are just difficult to race, guys that are just hard to pass early in the race.
Guys will knock your rear bumper off, and you have to pit the last run of the day.
Yeah. There's a silver lining.
No, everybody stopped.
Oh, I stayed out.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, it didn't work out. It didn't work out good for me.
A lot of people stopped.
Yeah, I wish I did, but no, we all elephants remember everything. So.
Is it something you're more aware of as the season winds down? You think people are a little bit freer with their emotions as it goes, or a little bit more careful present the chase and all of the things you're doing?
Well, there's a little mixed bag on that. I think it's not, at this point in the season, guys that aren't in the chase, are not really in a points hunt at all, go in with the attitude of they got nothing to lose. So that kind of gets guys a little bit more fired up. And then we also, we just came from Talladega and Martinsville. Kind of wild card, crazy race. We're getting back to kind of a normal place here.
And I mean, for me, it is a little bit different in the first 26 because you're trying to get into the chase. And then the second 26, like I said, you only have 10 races. You're only graded on the last 10 races where you're going to finish the end of the season in the points. So whether you're going to be 5th in points, or you're going to be 9th in points, or you're going to be 3rd in points, all is dictated by where you finish in the last 10 races. So the difference between finishing 9th and 5th, it makes a big difference each race. And so in the last 10, it kind of becomes more important to every position.
One of the great things is in a chat like this, the opportunity, and also you get to see it on television, follow on the internet, and see a part of their world. And Joey, I know you've been on a couple USO tours, and Greg, you've gone to places. If you could tell us a real experience you've had in the military world.
Yeah, I've been very fortunate. I got to go to Guantanamo Bay the first time with Brad Keselowski before we were teammates. And, just kind of get the experience there. And then I got to go last year to Kuwait, and then I got to go to Germany, there where some of you guys are, and with Ricky Stenhouse, and just to see the different atmospheres and what you guys do from the day-to-day, stuff that you guys have to do, and it's impressive to me, and the commitment you guys make is amazing. We can't thank you guys enough. That's why I like going on them, is to try to understand what you guys do, try to bring it back here, and tell everybody about everything I've learned, and then also go out there and thank you guys for everything, and personally shake your guys' hands, because we can't sit here and drive race cars and race if it wasn't for you guys protecting our country. So we appreciate all that, and definitely the one story that kind of sticks out in my mind. Trent's here with me. He went down there with me to Kuwait, and we landed in Kuwait. And as soon as you land, you really figure out I'm not home anymore. You see, I don't know, the turbans or whatever. Everyone's it's just a completely different atmosphere, and no one's speaking your language, and I just felt really lost, and kind of scared not to land. I mean, in all honesty, you don't know what's going on, and all you see is stuff on the news. So. But to really understand what goes on there and learn, what the truth is, because it seems like the news sometimes may skew a little bit of what goes on down there.
Yeah, I mean, I've got some of the same experiences that Joey does. I had the privilege of driving the National Guard car for about 4 years, so I got to fly in the Apache helicopter out in Utah. I got to drive the M1 Abram tank in the desert of Las Vegas, and went to Ranger training in Alabama, so I got to do a lot of neat things and visit a lot of bases, and I've gone to the Walter Reed Hospital. I think been there at least 10 years or 9 years, going there and visiting soldiers that have come home wounded. So it's can't thank you guys enough for what you do for us, and like Joey said, we wouldn't be able to do this here at home if it wasn't for your guys' sacrifices.
Did you ever get to fly with the Thunderbirds or anything?
Yeah, I flew in the I flew in the F-16.
Did you throw up?
No, I didn't throw up, but I was a little green. I didn't throw up though.
I didn't make it. I passed out right off the bat. He took off.
Out like a light.
Yeah, I mean right off the bat, he took off, and we were kind of digging around, and we weren't up in the air. We were probably 20 feet off the ground, and then all of a sudden he just pulled it straight up.
Yeah.
And I passed right out. And I woke up, we're upside down, I'm looking down at the runway, I'm like, this guy's crazy. So those guys are nuts, I know that much already.
And a lot of people say that about you guys, too, in the nicest way. Of
well, I mean, we're going in the corner 210 miles an hour, so...
It doesn't sound crazy to me, though, compared to what they do.
Well, we want to thank all of you for joining us, and we do thank the USO. And as I said, I personally have great experiences, and thank you for all of your service to our country and to your families that support you in many, many ways. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
See ya.
Thank you.
Or we have higher heroes.
Remember?